Hi, how you doing? My name is Brandon. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Sorry if I sound a little weird. I'm just kind of trying to calm down after the insanity that was that Seahawks 49ers 2 game. Fuck the refs, you know. Um, Exciting thing for me, personal update. I bought a Elgato something capture card. It's the one that records 1080p 60 FPS. So hopefully I can record my Switch if I can get that working. I have an Xbox One, Xbox 360, Wii U, a bunch of shit, honestly. So the footage you're seeing now is me drawing on graph paper my personal copy for the maps that I keep behind my screen. This is the same map that I drew in my last video. So this is my floor plan for the Crypt of Siggurd. I want to talk about my session from this weekend because it was actually really fun. We played for a while. I'm at that point where I just played D&D for like 6 hours until like 4 in the morning. It's bad for my sleep schedule, but it's fun. So yeah, the session started off with my party pretty much just dealing with what happened at the end of the last one. So they got a piece of property. They got a house on the edge of the town that they're in. So they went and checked that out. Found a place to tie a wolf that they ended up taking with them. Actually, it's a warg from an orc war camp that they dealt with the last session. So then they set off to find the Crypt of Siggurd. So I like to do this thing when they're traveling where I have them roll a d12 and I keep 12 encounters prepared. Not the same, obviously, each session. But so let's say they roll 7, I have an encounter planned for that, and then I get rid of that one with a different one. So that way I have a bunch of stuff for them to do. So this one they rolled was a frozen river, since they're in kind of a very cold area of the continent. So they found this river, and the Goliath Barbarian decides, instead of checking it to see if it's safe to cross, he's going to run across. So he falls in, and the Halfling Rogue, who is already across, decides he's not going to do anything because he is small. What can he do to help? So the fighter has to send his sentient rope. That's his magic item. I call it an ear to please rope. It's a little thing I homebrewed. And so the rope acts according to its user's will. It's not sentient. It just kind of follows commands and tries to pull him back. So after some slight complications with that, they did manage to pull the barbarian back ashore. However, he did need to thaw by a fire. After that, I used Jelly Wizard. I don't know if anybody's seen that Reddit post, but it's just a slime with a wizard hat and a wizard stick. Like, fucking blue hat, blue pointy hat, white stars, baton that's like black with the white tips. All it does is just approach the party and leave. So that was fun. They were freaking the fuck out about that. They thought it was gonna be some shit they'd have to kill. But Jelly Wizard, sorry about that. So that was fun. So then they got to the area they were looking for. They had a map to the entrance of the dungeon, which was an obsidian obelisk somewhere. They didn't know the exact location of it. So in an attempt to find this, instead of asking if he could make a perception check, he decides he's going to climb a tree. I'm talking about my barbarian again, my big Goliath barbarian. So he decides he's going to climb a tree he can find. So they're in a piney area. So I say, okay, you can climb a tree. Just make an acrobatics check. He gets a natural 1, and I do believe that natural 1s, being funny failures, do have their place. So what's a reasonable natural 1, a failure, for climbing a tree? Falling off of said tree. So I decide, you know what, let's figure out how big this tree is. So I roll my percentile dice, and I decide the tree is 80 feet tall, which isn't actually that unreasonable for pine trees. I googled it. They're on average 120 feet tall, so it's a small pine tree. Could have been a lot worse. So he falls down. He has 39 health at level 3. He took 29. So he decides he's going to short rest, uses all of his hit dice, gets back to full health. However, they don't long rest before entering this dungeon. So the barbarian's going in with no hit dice left, and his stone's endurance is already gone. So they find this obelisk, and there's a riddle on it. It's just a fucking basic riddle. The obelisk had a bowl on it, and then the riddle said, I have a head and a tail but no body. I am not a snake. So it's a coin. So they put a coin in this little bowl on top of the obelisk, and yeah, they started going. Just make sure I'm recording here. All right, yeah, cool, sweet. So then they descended into the Crypt of Siggurd, which you can see here. So I decided the crypt would be full of kobolds, and the kobolds have a dragon egg somewhere. So as they enter, they decide to not kill everything immediately. Thank God. As the kobolds are kind of fascinated with the outsiders, as the crypt has been sealed for a while. So they leave, and they don't leave. They get taken to the elder kobold, who takes them and explains to them that there is some basement troubles. There's undeads that have recently invaded the cavern. Something seems to have awakened. It's gonna be the goblins that the party's fighting. But shh. So yeah, so the party is tasked with clearing out the basement, and they will get to take the key that they find. So it should be pretty simple, straightforward, just skeletons and zombies in the basement. Easy for a level 3 party. The problem is there's lots of them. And the problem with lots of them is that 1 in every 20 dice rolls, occasionally there will be a crit. And there's lots of dice rolls during combat. The barbarian gets crit and loses most of his health. So he starts freaking out because he's running out of health. And this player kind of has... I guess they don't really understand that death just kind of happens in D&D. Again, they're all new except for my halfling rogue. So they're not really used to the concept of player deaths yet. They're very attached to their characters, which I guess it's completely understandable. It's the first real campaign they've played. But so he started getting a little salty. Don't get salty playing D&D. It's not fun for everybody else at the table, and I continuously had to kind of stop and be like, hey, it's a game, don't be mad. But he was, so that was fun. It was also 4 a.m. and we're very tired. So he gets crit, feeling very worse for wear. And eventually they get into the mimic room, because I made a mimic room, because I hate my players. No, I don't. I love them. But I'm trying to give them a, normal D&D game, I guess, because they've never played before. So before I get into the weird shit, typical D&D. So there's a mimic room. It is a long room with water in it. And at the end of the water, there is a single rock. And on that rock is a mimic. But the mimic also had a key to open up one room. So the barbarian again charges across to get the key. He gets bit by the mimic. And the Grick, because I put a Grick in the water too, because I think it's a cool combination of monsters. So the mimic sits on the rock as a trap, and the Grick is in the water waiting. So after getting their asses handed to them there, they do manage to do this, and then decide to short rest, which doesn't fucking do anything for the barbarian because he's already used up all of his short rest resources. So eventually they work their way down the hallway to the dragon priest. He wanted the dragon egg that the kobolds are keeping up at the top. And so he said that he would reward the party if they took it. So the party does what any party would do. Immediately drops their current task, runs upstairs, steals the dragon egg, which involves killing a priest. So they kill a priest and take the egg, which the kobolds have been calling El Huevo. And so they end up coming back down to the dragon priest and giving him El Huevo, which the dragon priest then does a ritual which allows the egg to hatch into a baby black dragon, which I'm now worried they're going to take with them. Which, yikes, that would be bad. I think if they do that, the mama dragon's gonna come, because that would also be interesting. I kind of want to stress this actions have consequences thing with them, because I don't know if they really get it yet. But as their reward for taking El Huevo down to the basement, they are given dragon marks. I took it from the UA. I gave the Goliath Barbarian a Mark of Storm, which gave him like a Gust cantrip, I think. Yeah, it gave him like a Gust cantrip. No, it gave him Minor Illusion. He got a Shadow Mark. He got a Shadow Mark, which gave him Minor Illusion and Dark Vision, which is useful for him. The Halfling got a Mark of Health, so he can cast Spare the Dying now, which will be useful. And the Fighter got the Mark of Tempest, because he's an ASMR. The UA for Dragon Marks really only gives for the Player's Handbook races. So I needed to just kind of adapt some of them. And I also didn't want to make it like a sub race, because that would be lame. So I just gave them the magic and like a basic, basic ability. So yeah, that was pretty much how my session ended up going. If you played D&D recently, how did your last session go? Write about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It would be appreciated. Hopefully we could have some gaming videos soon. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hope you have a good day. Peace.